Hello and welcome. This is a continuation on the series on winning on small exchanges. And the chapter will be that of the arbitrage, everything you do within your own risk and your own reward. I find this a very, very profitable strategy. Takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of tedious action, but profits are most certainly there. We'll talk about the arbitrage. That's where you buy and sell the same asset class at the same time for a profit. And there are two ways in which this can be done, at least two ways that I know of how, which is the immediate swap, where you are a taker, and an order swap, where you are a maker. I'm going to be focusing primarily within the coin exchange. Coinexchange.com or .io. Just you can Google search coin exchange, all in no spaces, and you will find the exchange. And in the smaller ones, you have less action. You can buy much cheaper, sell higher, which is the whole point of this. So let's now look at some codes that would be available on this particular site. And other ones, I'm not too familiar with some of the other ones, small exchanges, but you're looking for codes that cross pair with the big exchanges. So an example of some would be Komodo, Bitbean, the Potcoin, Cannabis, Lomo Coin, Faircoin, Feathercoin, Zed Classic, I'm not going to pronounce the GRS one, Emmercoin, and there is more. So these are coins that all trade on Bittrex. And then you have what I call a Cryptopia base. For any time there are codes that don't trade on any big exchanges like Poloniex, Bittrex, or Bitfinex, if Cryptopia has that code, it's pretty much going to be the biggest exchange that it trades. So No Limit 2 Coin and LC2, codes like Smart, ARG. These are ones that if you are looking to buy low, sell high in the arbitrage, this would be your base Cryptopia, where you get the fair price. Because any price you see on Bittrex, the bid ask for the most part, that's what the price is at the moment. Only price pays, of course. So therefore, to start playing this game, you buy the codes that you want to try and arbitrage, and you do so on larger exchanges. So if you want to play Faircoin, and PivX actually is on there as well. Any of those coins, you buy them on Poloniex, Bittrex, wherever it may be, and then you transfer those funds over to the smaller exchange. You can also try to buy the coins for the cheaper price on the small exchange. If you buy it on Bittrex or a larger site, you're guaranteed to buy what you want at that time. So say you want 1,000 of a particular coin, you buy it, you send it, and so on and so forth. So you're basically building up your inventory. And I look at this sort of like a store. You're building up say you're a gold dealer, so you sell gold coins, and people want to buy and sell these to you, and you're just trying to make profitable trades in that form. But you need to have an inventory when you have your storefront. So now let's talk about the immediate trade, where you can get the arbitrage right here, right now. They don't happen often. I don't know of any great techniques in order to find them when they become available. But when you see them, you can get very good plays. Let's assume you're playing whichever code. It doesn't matter, and doesn't matter as long as you're getting the deals. And if at this time the bid-ask ratio has people asking to sell at 355, and what I have here is the order numbers. So someone's selling a price number at 355, say 0.00214 Bitcoin worth, at 356.003 Bitcoin worth, and then you can see the numbers fluctuate higher and lower along the way. And that's if you want to buy. If you want to sell, you can sell what this would be in this example, almost 0.8 Bitcoin at 329. And then the numbers get much lower. But at this current time, you have a Bittrex trade of 287, 286. So you're in a situation now where you can sell this pretty heavy. Now let's just assume first of all that you didn't even have any of these tokens when you seen it. Well, what you could do, this is a chance. You go on to Bittrex, you buy however many you want to try to get. I did intentionally put a big number here because I've seen it happen before with large numbers. And you buy whatever, you move it over to the site. Depending on the coin, some coins will take 20 minutes. Sometimes it'll take an hour, 15 minutes, usually 20, 30 minutes for most transfers. And if this order still happens to be there, then you can make the trade. But just imagine buying whatever amount that was for sale. You buy that amount at 287. You then transfer it. And then over the 20 minutes while you're waiting, you're going to have other people that are going to sell to that. And maybe the bidder might just remove the order. Oftentimes I've seen they don't, and I've even seen it last for over an hour before on these small exchanges. Because I'm going to get into another example for why that would be in my case. So now let's assume instead, you don't want to take too many chances, and maybe you don't even have the funds to buy all that you would want to take. But let's assume you have even just 4% of what that player wants. You can only sell maybe 0.04 worth. Well, what you would do is you would go on that market and you would sell everything you can at 329. And then you could immediately go back and buy 287 for basically what you bought. You're then going to have to move what you buy over to that site. And let's assume it works out and 20 minutes go by, the tokens get transferred, and then you do it again. But the interesting thing would be, if you sold, say, 5,000 at that price that you could, you can probably buy back on a difference of like 10%, maybe about 5,500. So you can get a decent amount in gains this way. So then you move the 5,500 over and then you sell it again. So on and so forth. So that is one way of looking at it. But again, if you have the codes immediately, especially if you got the bigger numbers to be able to handle it, you take the swap, you take the trade. I've even seen 20, 30% gains available. BitBean, I think 3 or 4 times. There was one Sunday evening, I finished off dinner and I noticed it was close to a Bitcoin. Somebody asking to buy BitBean at 20% more than it's worth. And I did exactly what I was stating, buy and sell back and forth like 5 times over, because I never did take the chance that I was going to buy like a large amount, like say 0.3 Bitcoin worth, move it over, the next thing you know, the buy order is gone and I have to try to sell it and I could lose on the play. So I've had that work out for me before within that kind of situation. Again, how you find this, tough to say. Now, oftentimes why I notice this works is, and I'm going to talk about my order bids soon. Let's just assume that you had a sell order in for 329 and you got the notification that it hit. So you go to the market, then you see, oh, okay, this person asked for a bigger bid. Therefore, what you can do with this situation is realize the person just wanted to buy big, whether it was a mistake or not, who cares? It happens. I've seen it happen over a dozen times throughout the year in this type of manner, and then you could just try to pick away at it. The common type of immediate trade in arbitrage is in situations like with main codes, like say Dash and Litecoin, where say for example it's been 12 minutes, 7 minutes, and one of the main codes are up like 15-20% in just that time. Then oftentimes you get good 4 or 5% scalps within these codes. But again, I want to focus on the altcoins of less market value because you can get significant gains within them. Now let's talk about the order trade. And within this one, this is where You can't arbitrage at the moment, but if an order happens to come in, you can. So assuming you noticed before you put your bid in, I got stars on the left-hand side, which represents what your bids would be. And then the other ones would be different people. Also notice that I got differences of like 31,700, then 32, 35, around 37.5, 40,000, and about 50,000. They can be wild spreads like that within these exchanges, so I wanted to intentionally show that on both sides. So if anyone comes in and happens to buy your 31,771, then you can buy back at 25,689, transfer them back over, and put another bid back in at 31,771. When I was trading Komodo earlier, it was almost freaky at times. And another code happened as well like this, where I just put my sell orders in and they seemed to hit within 10 minutes every time, like 3-4 times over in a day or two. Where I would literally have like multiple trades of good gains, 20-30% per day. So that would be what you'd want to do here. Now I put the lowest buy order in for 20,000 because fair price at the time would be 25.6. If someone happens to sell it down big right now to 20, then you can sell it for 25.6. Now maybe you don't have any tokens to sell on the other site, which is very common not to. Generally speaking, you're pretty safe long term. If you're going to buy at these majorly low levels, that if you transfer it over to a bigger site, so you buy the 20,000, you move it over to Polo next or Bittrex, that it'll get there quick enough so that you could sell it for a gain. And if the market falls in this case to say 24,750 when you get the buy, that's still a profit. And yes, so continuing on within the bigger sell orders you have, you're going to get situations where people will just buy this up like mad within these slim ones. When you see the major cattails that go up and down, that's because people are aggressively buying and selling. So you have the deep sell orders in. And if a situation like this were to exist and you get both of them filled, well, now you can arbitrage two different sell orders, and your last one is going to give you sweet profits, because at this time you'd be getting 100% gain. And those ones will come every now and again within this trade. You're going to get in a situation of bidding wars, where if you're within here, maybe you put your bid in at 31,771. Well, this player in here just may decide to go 31,770 on you. So if you're willing to play that game, that's something worth noting. Also, you want to be aware of the real price, which is why you almost want to check this even a couple times a day, because the price on Poloniex and other sites can move really wildly. So now assuming the larger exchange falls with the price below 24,600, you can start to consider an immediate trade. Price is below 24.6. If you sell the 25,000, you're looking at getting a difference of 400 points. That's about 1.7%. Then you're going to pay a bit of rake on both sides, so you're getting a 1% gain. Not worth it, at least not for me. But then you start to see the price go lower, 24.2, 23.5. If nobody is going to sell to the 25,000s, I sure as heck am going to, once I realize it's profitable enough for me to do it. So when I see situations where price action is very close to 1, and I use the example very close to the bid here, sometimes I'll keep an eye on a code. Maybe put an alert out available to me if a price falls or above or below a certain threshold, so then I can then do what I need to do. Especially when you got like a bunch of different codes. If PivX does this, if Funfair does that. I don't even know if Funfair is available on this exchange, but whichever code that it is that you are playing, then you can get information on its movements that way. Now, assuming further it continues to fall, it goes down to 21,000. Obviously, the bids would change. I haven't changed them, but at that point, it would be certain that the 25,000 bids would either be deleted, but most certainly sold upon. And if you notice that the price is 21 and you're stuck with that 20,000 buy order, some new orders would probably be in, maybe 20,400 or whatever else, some new orders. I would consider, and always would, remove that buy order and then move it to a safe arbitrage level. If I move it to 17,000, then I would be putting it in an area where it's 4,000 points below market price. And that would be over 20%. So at least that would be around the highest point in which I would want to go. Okay, so then let's take a look at some things worth considering. You want to look at trade volume and price action prospects. Trade volume, you need the volume to be low, but not dead low. Because there was some coins on there, like Evergreen was one on the coin exchange, where the volume was just so low that it wasn't even worth playing that code on there. So you want ones that'll move a little bit, but not a lot. Because the whole point of why you can arbitrage on these sites is because they don't move much at all. And as far as price action prospects are concerned, if you're holding any type of coins that you're trying to buy back and forth like this, that's going to be in a consistent downtrend, then that's just like buying an inventory product that's just going to go down in value, that if you want to sell later on a forced price, you're going to do so for a loss. So you really want markets definitely that are going up, ones that'll go sideways, or ones that shouldn't lose much at all. Because if you realize that its net prospect is to lose, say, 20% over a year, well, your trades that you're going to swing amongst that will make it totally worth it to play. Of course, you want to know about your risk tolerance. How much are you able to invest in what you're playing? If you're playing so many codes, how much of each one do you want to buy? Which ones do you want to have more aggressive sizes with? And so on and so forth. Transaction fee cost, that's another one. Make sure that when you are buying the coins that you want to see its status, even the wallet maintenance. I didn't write that one in. You want to find out if the wallets are actually functionable and what the costs are. The transfer times, also very important. Bella is available on Coin Exchange. But on Poloniex, they need 1,000 confirmations for it to complete. I have done so half a dozen times or more. And the average wait time for me is 2 days. Most coins, again, 20, 30 minutes, maybe up to an hour for the transfers to take place. And it should be noted to always double check the addresses, that you got the right code. I always look at the first 2 or 3 and last 2 or 3 letters of each one. Check it once or twice and then push the send. You should get a confirmation email. Do you want to send it? Check the code once more again, because once you push confirm, it's in the blockchain. So continuing on, how often are you able to check the market and the orders? Because the more often that you are, the more transactions you are going to get per day. If you're going to try to do this with, like, say, a couple dozen codes, around 25, and you're going to be very aggressive as far as checking its markets, you should, on average, get a handful of trades per day. 3-4 trades per day. So that's something to keep in mind. And creative orders. Anything that you can creative think, okay, this is, if I do this, if you can get profit that way, the more creative you are, the more profitable that can become. Now let's talk about another risk as far as arbitraging, because the obvious one is you buy something that just goes down. Your inventory, maybe you spend like, I don't know, say 0.02 Bitcoin on it. You buy it, you wait for an arbitrage, you don't get anything. Now it's worth 0.017 and 0.015. Then you might get a small gain and it goes down, and next thing you know, you're losing still on the play. So another one is when markets go, because when they pump really big, they can go high. And I'm going to call this order notification, no arbitrage for you. Sort of like a Seinfeld soup reference point. Okay, assuming you see an altcoin selling to you for a price of 4,000 Satoshi, which was 3,400 on your last peak. So you're looking to get about a 17-18% profit on the play if someone would take it. If you see prices 4,200 on the exchange or even higher, then that's what happens when markets go crazy. So you get notified at a certain time that, oh, I sold it. Then you check the market and you see on Bittrex that the cheapest you can buy it for is 42. And again, it could be worse. You could be able to so we see the price at 5,000. There's even a situation where maybe 2 or 3 of your orders get in, and you can't even get a deal on anything. The price just goes way higher. That's going to happen at times too. So to me, you can either wait to buy the price cheaper, you put your buy orders in, wait a few days if need be with the way markets are, or just pay the piper and buy back again. Let's assuming again you had a sell order at that 4,000, and then you go back and you buy at 4,200, so you lose, but you're buying at 4,200 again just so you have inventory and you can try to do it again. You transfer the coins over. You put them up for sale. Probably in this case, if it's trading for 42, you put them up for sale at around 6,000 or something, and then go from there. And the final segment, I'm going to put 5 minutes, 5 hours, or hours, and just days. If you will be near the computer in 5 minutes from where you are, then go ahead and place arbitrage orders for small gains. And in doing such, that means that last example where you maybe only going for a 15% push, you realize that in 5 minutes from now, if say the other market starts to have a decent gain, then you can delete that sell order and place it higher. But if you got other things to do, which you're going to have to in the real world, especially with a sleep schedule, then you're going to need to play a more longer term strategy. So instead before you go to bed, maybe delete a 4,200 sell and put a sell order in for 5,000. Or maybe none at all and just have them only available when you are active at the computer. Again, be creative with how you want to play your game. Now, if you're talking about being away for multiple days, that means you're on vacation, because to me, this is as simple as cooking breakfast or lunch once a day, brushing your teeth twice a day. You just simply... No, wait a second. It's not that simple. My basic strategy is that way. Yeah, because I have a basic strategy that way. If you are going to spend little time amongst this, then you're going to have to revert your strategy to a basic one. That's where I'm trying to get on with this. So you're on vacation. Yeah, like I say, you have like 20 minutes during one of the days to do some work. Or you wake up maybe once in the morning, once before you go to bed, or in the evening, you check your updates, see what's going on, check some markets out. But you want to have your status set up so that if anything happens over a significant period of time when you're gone, that you're okay with the situation. And I will leave this video at that. I will be going over more information as well, but this is the vast majority of it. Now within this game, if there's anybody else doing the same thing within you, you are competing as almost like sharks trying to get your food. because you're trying to attract the prey, the people that will buy and sell at terrible prices, and then of course take advantage of it. So if a bunch of people decide that they want to do this, it might become an interesting situation amongst the markets. But again, this is a game that is very tedious, a lot of work, because when you got 25 different codes, you go on to check it multiple times per day to ensure that you get the great gains that will come through within it. Of course, everything is always within your own risk and own reward. I'm going over my ideas and what I did throughout the year. And the reason why I am not doing this anymore is because I don't want to put the time and effort into consistently checking my market status of all of these codes. I have not found a fast, efficient way to do such. And that is why I no longer want to. So thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.